entry background check on you for just exercising your Second Amendment rights is an infringement. It's an infringement. And I'll tell you, I'll be the first to line up. I'll be the first to line up for a background check as soon as it's voluntary. But I will not succumb to any of their stupid laws, and that's just one of them. They want you to think about that. And they say, oh, it's a good idea. Well, the Constitution, in my Supreme Court case, Justice Scalia said, the Constitution protects us from our own best intentions. And that's where we are today. We're not going to compromise any of the Second Amendment. We're not going to allow any infringements because gun control and infringements are against the law. Once you start giving them authority they do not constitutionally have, where does it stop? That's what's brought us here today. It's to stop today.
You present another Waco.
We have, and what about those horrible incidents? What about the worst mass killings in American history? They try to blame them on citizens. It's always been government. You can look at Kent State, you can look at Ruby Ridge, you can look at Waco. If the sheriffs, I will tell you this, if the sheriffs had remained in charge of any of those places, the law would have been enforced and no one would have been killed. When I was first studying the Constitution, I did so at a police training class, and the instructor's name was Dr. W. Cleon Skousen, and he taught us as law enforcement officers about the Constitution. And I was converted to the Constitution as a rookie cop way back in 1983. And then when I ran for sheriff, I said, we will enforce the Constitution here. We will abide by the Bill of Rights. You would think that would be a simple thing for those who have sworn to do that they would actually be able to focus and keep their word in expressing their defense of the Bill of Rights, the supreme law of the land. And yet we still have problems with that today, that people don't understand their obligation to keep their word and keep their oath. And so, when Dr. Skousen was teaching me, he said, he handed me his book, and it was called The Making of America. And I traded him a book. 10 years later, I wrote my first book, and I gave him my book. And he told me something that I'll never forget. He said, he challenged me to do this, and he said, promise me that you'll teach these things to your children. Well, I have. I kept my promise, and now I teach them all across America, and we're teaching sheriffs and cops all across America. And I've started teaching them to my 9 grandchildren. And the oldest one is barely 6 years old. And her name is Libby, because she was born on the 4th of July. And her name is Liberty. Liberty LaDon Mack Hardy. And so I want you to know that what I learned at police training, I'm going to share with you today. I'm going to end my remarks with this. When 240 cops went to the University of Utah in Salt Lake City to learn about our Constitution and our oath of office and the foundation of America and the making of America, and what a miracle this all was, and how we today have an obligation to make sure that miracle never dies. And we are the result of that miracle. And it's because we've adhered to the principles that we will not bend on the principles expressed in the Bill of Rights. And when the Founding Fathers developed the Bill of Rights, they said, these are the untouchables by government. These are the strict rules that government can never cross. They can never change, alter, or legislate anything about these precious freedoms. And that's what they had in mind. And that's why the Second Amendment is so vital to America and to freedom. And they want us to get in this argument as to whether or not there is a statistical analysis that proves that gun ownership is safer and reduces crime. It doesn't matter. Gun control in America is against the law.